former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday. They have now come to the hearse and are removing the casket bearing the body of former Prime Minister Panday. They will be carrying it into the lobby of the Southern Academy of the Performing Arts. So we are looking at the procedure as it takes place. And no doubt they will be even more careful than they were on Friday, although it was a successful maneuver on Friday. There has been some rainfall, so that is one of the things that they will be a bit careful about. We also made mention of the fact that in addition to their dress uniforms, each member of the protective services who are on part of the honor guard at this point in time, they are wearing a black band around their left arm. Now we're going to look at the maneuver to turn around, and we're seeing how it's being done incrementally. The officers who are not bearing the caskets but are bearing arms are facing each other, forming an honor guard, as it were, that the casket, or the bearers with the casket, will be walking through. You may be hearing some of the sounds of traffic, and understandably individuals are slowing down a little bit as they're passing, because we are right alongside the Rienzi Curtin Highway in southern Trinidad, and now the incremental steps with their solemn duty. And looking at the uniform, or the dress uniform, you can see that the honor guard as well as the bearers are comprised of all facets of the protective services of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, fitting for one who has served in this capacity. So the officers have made their minute adjustments and now preparing to ascend the stairs to enter the lobby area of the Southern Academy of the Performing Arts. Where they will lay the casket bearing the body of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday for him to lie in honor, in state, for members of the public to pay their respects before the state funeral that will take place on Tuesday. So the officers have successfully mounted the stairs and they have entered the lobby area. Now the doors at the lobby, the main doors for this lobby area, will only be opened at this point in time. casket in place. They took it back, they peeled back part of the flag, which will allow for opening of the casket. And now finished or relieved of their solemn duty, they are marching out of the lobby from whence they came, and then they will receive their hats once more. Now, speaking to the lobby, they would have come through, the body would have come through the main door of the lobby, and this will be the only time for the day that those doors are open. The management and staff at the Southern Academy of the Performing Arts, they have created a flow that will be in place. So there is one door that members of the public will come through. This would be the door to the right of those main doors. Now, coming through those doors, which are actually cordoned off at this point in time, you will approach two condolence books as well as the national flag of Trinidad and Tobago. There will be there is rather a picture of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday that will help individuals when they're penning their thoughts, writing in that condolence book. Now, finishing writing your thoughts, your well wishes, patrons well, not patrons, but individuals will be directed to continue in the direction uh, where they will come upon the casket. They can spend some moments with the former prime minister, and then they continue in the direction that they have been moving to go out of one door. So direction is there's one flow of traffic which will make for very smooth and efficient movement, and this is how the body of the former prime minister or the former prime minister Basdeo Panday will be honored as he lies in honor today following a stint at the Rotunda Gallery in Port of Spain. He is here at the Southern Academy of the Performing Arts in San Fernando for today, Monday, until his state funeral tomorrow, which will also take place at SAPA before heading 9.5 kilometers over the Gordino Bridge to the Mosquito Creek Shore of Peace, where he will be cremated according to Hindu rites. And we are bringing this to you as we pay tribute, as we honor the life and legacy of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday. Final checks being done to ensure that everything is the way it is supposed to be. As the casket was being removed from the hearse this morning, there was a small yet profound moment where that vessel that you see at the head of the casket was used to help sanctify the space. So, reminding you as well that the body of the former Prime Minister will be here at the Southern Academy of the Performing Arts, and the public will be allowed to visit and pay their respects from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. This is at SAPA on Todd Street along the Rienzi Curtin Highway. You're getting a look at the condolence book at this point in time, in addition to a picture of the man, the Silver Fox himself. Now, in that condolence book, there was an order of protocol of signing. The first person to sign the condolence book was the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Her Excellency Christine Carla Kangaloo, followed by Prime Minister Dr. Rowley, and then the Chief Justice Ivor Archie. And it was very instructive to see some of the last-minute checks and balances to make sure that everything was as it's supposed to be this morning. So we would have arrived on site. There was security checks and sweeps being done to make sure that there are no untoward occurrences. to make sure that the public who is visiting, everyone who is here engaging in this event today will be safe. So there would no untoward, as we said, occurrences marring the event. Making sure that everything is supposed to be, and the respect and honor that the state is paying is also in order. There we see Senator Dr. Amy Brown, Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, speaking with the brother of a Prime Minister or former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday, as the family are naturally being ushered in first, and we follow them at this point in time to see what will be taking place. containing the body of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday just been opened. It has been approached, well, that's been done by a member of the Das Funeral Home as well as a pundit. We're reminding you that Mr. Panday will be the first Prime Minister or first former Prime Minister who will be given a state funeral according to Hindu rites. And we are seeing last minute touches to his body before being open or the space being accessible by members of the public who will be moving in one direction. There's a one direction flow to enter the Southern Academy of the Performing Arts building or lobby at this point in time to sign one of the two condolence books. From there, they will view the body from behind the cordoned off area, and then they will exit the lobby area of SAPA, having paid their respects to the fifth Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, the shot that we were seeing before of the casket closed without anyone around may have been a bit austere, but in some ways can give an idea of the person willing to go it alone, willing to be by himself before bringing others along. And now we see family and friends, most notably daughter Michaela Panday, who would have been greeting individuals on Friday as they lined up to pay their respects, their last respects to her father. Once again, we see her in attendance. We see her with the duty of a daughter. And no doubt, she is also bearing up well at this point in time following the pundit to get to the body to see her father one more time before his state funeral on Tuesday. Now we see a ceremonial and functional guard of honor around the body. And as we watched Miss Panday walk away to get more of her family members, definitely she is just one more step in saying goodbye at this point in time. Difficult time in the life of anyone saying farewell to a loved one. More so one that you would have to grow up sharing with the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. And we would have seen so many changes throughout the life, the evolution of the man who would have impacted individuals on a personal and national level in a way where seemed to be very high proximity to the national pulse established. A force to be reckoned with in life and in passing. We see the Pandit continuing to engage with the family for a blessing of the body. And once again, times like this are never easy. And even more so when, once again, this is happening real time in the face of, in the full glare of the public scrutiny, continuing to share their father, their husband, their family member with the national populace as they would have done so much in life. As we see the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, along with the brother of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday, Mr. Subhas Panday, and we just would have had an invocation by the pundit, and there is a religious text that says, "Blessed is the spot where the name of the divine is mentioned," and that just took place here at the Southern Academy of the Performing Arts in San Fernando, where the body of former Prime Minister, the fifth Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, will lie in honor for the day. And this has taken place shortly before the space will be opened to allow members of the general public to pay their respects to Basdeo Panday, the work that he has done as a former Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And as we see that embrace between the minister and Mr. Panday, it reminds of the way that the former Prime Minister was able to reach at times across that political divide and get to the heart of the matter, speak to persons as an individual, because it said that on a personal level he never failed to pause for a friendly chat, to offer words of advice, etc., which is why so many people at the news of his passing were able to share their individual photos that they would have taken with him, to share a personal anecdote or memory. And there we see Michaela Panday with her uncle Subhas at this point in time at the casket of the man himself, Basdeo Panday. So, if you are just tuning in, this is a live broadcast of the former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the fifth Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Basdeo Panday's body lying in honor at the Southern Academy of the Performing Arts in San Fernando, also known as SAPA. Now, we're seeing a conversation between daughter of Mr. Panday, Michaela Panday, as well as Senator Dr. Amy Brown, the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, as well as the brother of Basdeo Panday, Subhas Panday, and it mirrors the respect that was paid to Mr. Panday on Friday, where he lay in honor at the rotunda of the Red House, the Parliament, for the day for members of the public to pay their respects. This is happening in San Fernando today. Now, the hearse would have brought Mr. Panday to SAPA, and there was less of a distance for the casket bearers to walk with him into the lobby where he is lying in honor. There we see a young member, possibly, we're not sure if he is aware enough to know, but he will also have this memory immortalized as he is next to the body of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday. we just had a shot of daughter of Basdeo Panday, Michaela Panday, escorting Joan Yule Williams to pay her respect. And in paying respect, we should also say happy birthday to Miss Panday, Michaela Panday. It is her birthday today from all accounts. So, what a time and what a way to be spending this day. But at the same time, once again, she seems to be holding up well. There we see Joan Yule Williams having a conversation with Minister Brown. So now we are seeing the inner circle, the close family of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday stepping away from the casket, undoubtedly making some room for the members of the general public who will be filing in just a short while. And if we can look at Friday gone as a precedent, we may be saying that people will be here in droves to pay their respect. We will see what the weather or the weather influences that flow of people coming to pay their respects. But at the same time, we expect a similar turnout, if not more, seeing that we're in the Southland. Closer to the area where Mr. Panday is originally from, and very close to where he will be cremated according to Hindu rites on the shore of peace. as stated, we have a sighting of one gentleman signing the condolence book, and he is also clutching his umbrella. The weather was no obstacle to him, or it was not an obstacle that he was not able to overcome. Under the watchful eye of the protective services, who are standing by, standing guard. And we see the emotion, we see the impact that Mr. Panday would have left. And as we have a slight shift of the protective services, so some are moving out while others have come in their stead. Points of entry are well manned by members of the protective service or protective services. And this image of the Prime Minister with that cheeky smile that lay just over that razor-sharp wit. There we have Ms. Williams, Jonine Williams, actually signing or adding to the list of condolences recorded in the book for the family of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday. So we are seeing the process of how the body is being viewed. Once again, we speak to the fact that the flow of individuals is quite organized, moving from one point to enter the building or the lobby area to sign. We're seeing some consoling being done, and it's very interesting that it is possible that Michaela Panday is a bit more emotional today being the day before the funeral for her father, it also being her birthday, but at the same time she is there. In a manner that feels kind of consoling to the persons coming to pay their respect. And of course we have a person who seems to have been a supporter from time past pulling out that t-shirt, which I'm sure that Ms. Panday would have spoken about as well. A t-shirt bearing the image of Basdeo Panday. As we see more individuals being ushered into a point where they can view the body of former Prime Minister Panday, as well as greet the family who are still there. It's very interesting to see the mix in demographics because after seeing all of the things, looking at the political career, looking at the lives that he would have impacted on the political landscape, both in a professional manner, doing his duty while providing service. It seems as though today is more about those personal touches, the personal lasting relationships that he would have had. Because it has been said that after everything is said and done, what people really remember about you is the way that you would have made them feel. And people are coming, most likely writing about that in the condolence books, while also sharing brief moments with the family as they're being ushered in. While we have the members of the protective services standing guard while all of this is taking place. once again, as Michaela Panday approaches the body of her father, permit me to share a testimonial from Mr. Robert LeHunt, who states that Mr. Panday's impact was larger than life itself, creating an illusion that he would be around forever. But when reality struck on January 1, 2024, it reminded us that no one is exempt from the passing of time. You see, we have another jersey bearing the image of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday. And to juxtapose that image, we also continue with the musings of Mr. Robert LeHunt, saying that Mr. Panday's journey encapsulated the struggles faced by many Afro and Indo-Trinbagonians during the post-colonial era. He had a very colorful history in the politics of Trinidad and Tobago. And while not without flaws, he possessed admirable qualities that left a lasting impression. And despite his numerous accomplishments, he remained grounded with an innate ability to interact effortlessly and effectively with both royalty and the common man. His charisma was infectious, making every interaction a special one. He was readily available, offering attentive ears, sound advice, and pragmatic solutions to any challenge, whether in the office as Prime Minister or beyond. And that ability to interact with princes as well as paupers was also shown during the pandemic when he was giving a little view into his window of the world and his home gardening, where he was so proud to show some of the things that he had reaped. I think one thing in particular was a humongous head of cabbage. But here he lies in honor at the Southern Academy of the Performing Arts, and we see members of the population coming in, braving the weather that is taking place at this point in time, because even though there is some sun starting to peek through, it is raining in San Fernando. And we're even looking at different iterations of these shirts that are a bit politically charged or showing advertising, having former Prime Minister Panday, and it even gives an idea of different stages in his political career, looking at the dress code, seeing in the one that we just saw, wearing a choir bearer or shirt jack, where he may have been a little closer to his labor union background versus that jacket and tie. Just slightly different outward nuance. We have someone else, a member of the public, coming in with one of those images that we would have spoken about, that he was never, it seems as though he was never too busy to stop and take an image with someone from the public. All these bits of memorabilia that will be treasured even more now that he is no longer there for individuals to take it with them. once again, we see the combination or the combined efforts of the management and staff of the Southern Academy for the Performing Arts, as well as the armed forces, members of the diplomatic corps, working together to ensure an effective flow, a smooth flow that is done with graciousness and grace, allowing individuals to pay their respect, but also making sure that it happens in a timely fashion. Just before, at around 5 minutes to 8 o'clock this morning, there would have been the outrider services of members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service that would have rode in front of the hearse carrying the body of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday. So everything seemed to have been moving ahead very smoothly on time, and the bearers, we would have been able to see on camera the procedure, removing hats and then taking up the casket. But speaking of casket, we see a changing of the guard at this point in time, because it is no mean feat to just be in position around the casket, standing guard in this position, not moving. So we see members of the armed forces relieving their comrades in arms at this point. So we look at how this process is done. While the changing of the guard is taking place, we see the family of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday actually exiting through the main doors at the lobby. And it is interesting to look at even the commands that are being shared at this point in time this morning, because while there's still this air of authority with the command and they are audible so that members of the armed forces can hear them, it is pitched with a different sort of energy, and we're looking at the family of Basdeo Panday being escorted into their vehicles. To return, no doubt, tomorrow, please God, where the state funeral for the 5th Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago will take place. Ms. Panday acknowledges the individuals who came out as Mr. Panday as well, Subhash Panday, the brother of a former Prime Minister, acknowledging the individuals who came out, took their time to pay their respects to the Silver Fox himself, and they are riding out to return for the funeral on Tuesday, the 9th of January. And it seems as though we're also seeing the exit of Senator Dr. Amy Brown, the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, leaving after the family of Basdeo Panday. Reminding you that Mr. Panday's body will lie in honor till 5:30 today, the 8th of January, ahead of his state funeral, the first state funeral according to Hindu rites, on Tuesday, the 9th of January, 2024. And because of our vantage point in the lobby at the Southern Academy of the Performing Arts, we can see through the glass panels that the sun has come out at this point in time. So undoubtedly that will positively affect the visiting public's efforts to get to SAPA to pay their last respects for many, for the life, the legacy, the work, the efforts put in by former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday. And it is so easy to talk about being a member of the Third Independent Parliament, 1972 to 1976, one of the founders of the United Labour Front, entering Parliament in 1972, being a member of NAR, resigning in 1988, forming Club 88. But what it seems is the theme running through all of this is that service. This is a man who gave of himself and will be remembered for that on the national landscape, also for following convictions, doing what he thought was best, making a contribution to national development and to politics. But we are here at the Southern Academy of the Performing Arts, and we see one man being gently encouraged to not cross that cordon, the area. But this is the point. As he makes his respect, we thank you for tuning into this live broadcast where the body of Basdeo Panday, former Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, lies in honor on the 8th of January 2024 before his state funeral according to Hindu rites, and being escorted to the Mosquito Creek Shore of Peace for cremation according to Hindu rites. On behalf of the entire cast and crew of TTT Limited Media Network, I'm DK Roster, thanking you for tuning in.
TTT News, delivering more news at more times to more people. TTT News, reporting on the people, events and issues that affect your life. TTT News, online and fully interactive. TTT News, nightly at 6. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant. The winning numbers in the National Lottery online drawers for Saturday, 6th January 2024 at 10:30 a.m. Play with the number 4, Dead Man. Pick 2 the numbers 32 and 33 in that order. Pick 4 the numbers 7, 5, 8 and 6 in that order. At 1 p.m. play with the number 13, Grapple, Mega Extreme Ball called. Pick 2 the numbers 9 and 34 in that order, Mega Ball called. Pick 4 the numbers 4, 8, 3 and 2 in that order. At 4 p.m., play with the number 31, Parson Wife, Mega Extreme Ball called. Pick 2 the numbers 35 and 29 in that order. Pick 4 the numbers 7, 7, 7 and 1 in that order. And at 7 p.m., play with the number 30, House Cat. Pick 2 the numbers 36 and 1 in that order. Pick 4 the numbers 6, 3, 8 and 7 in that order. Cashpot, the numbers 13, 3, 20, 18 and 19 in any order, and the multiplier is 3.
This is TTT. Live for local.
I, Basdeo Panday, do swear by the Holy Gita that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Trinidad and Tobago.
So my dad was born in 1933. He recently celebrated his 89th birthday, which we were all happy about. He was born in a village called St. Julian, which is in Princestown. He went to Presentation College. After that, he worked as a cane weigher, a teacher, and a civil servant. I heard he was quite a strict teacher, which shocks me because he's an extremely patient person. My father would be more, did you do your best? So your best doesn't have to be an A. Your best can be a C. It can be a D, but once you tried your best, try to be the best at whatever you do. So that was the kind of father that he was and still is. He was a bodybuilder, and that one's quite interesting. He loves sports. To this day, he enjoys looking at sport. He then went abroad and he studied law, economics, and drama, for all of which he has degrees in. I don't know if you know, but my father was an actor, and a successful one. He acted in 2 films, Man in the Middle and 9 Days to Rama. And acted in a play in the Savoy Theatre in London for a year. And this really was to help him financially to pay for his studies. Then he came back to Trinidad. He had gotten a scholarship to go to Delhi to study politics and economics. He entered politics in 1966, but entered the parliament in 1976.
Trinidad and Tobago broke that race bogey.
For the first time, there was an East Indian Prime Minister coming from a political line that started with the DLP and ended up with the UNC.
Panday formed what you call Club 88, and which ended up as UNC, because before that they were the United Labour Front.
That formation of the UNC gave Trinidad and Tobago a second political party that had the kind of dynamics that could challenge the PNM for power.
We won the election. Mr. Panday became Prime Minister. He led an extremely good government that really served the people very loyally.
So my father was the Prime Minister for 6 years, and during that period of time, there was a huge legislative agenda where laws were passed. One was obviously the Domestic Violence Act. The other was the Maternity Protection Act. We had the Equal Opportunities Act. We had the Freedom of Information Act.
We completed the regularization of 50,000 squatting families to enable them to own the land that they occupied. We built the new airport terminal. He had made himself Minister of National Security for a while, and he was chairman of the National Security Council. But he handled the job very wisely and was able to reduce crime like we had never done previously. While Mr. Panday was Prime Minister, the price of oil internationally was between $8 and $12 US a barrel. Now that's not a lot of money. And yet, with the shortage of funding, we were able to accomplish a great deal. Built a lot of schools. We built bridges and highways, especially in East Trinidad.
These were all visions that through laws came into fruition to really